Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12. Verses 6 and 7. Romans 12, 6 and 7. We have different gifts. I'm reading from the NIV. According to the grace given us. If a man's gift is prophesying, let him use it in proportion to his faith. If it is serving, let him serve. If it is teaching, let him teach. Amen. May God have a blessing to the readers and the hearing of his word. I know we had a theme, and I do acknowledge that. And I just read that passage, and I thank God for this, the unique spirit that's around this morning, that is. Just centering around the spirit all today. Serve and teach well.
All right.
That is a responsibility for both parts.
Right.
For everybody is not a teacher, but everybody is able to serve.
Amen.
Everybody is able to serve. You're taught that from a young age, from mom and dad, or from mother, or from father. It's always to serve. There are services through gifts, because we all have gifts. From the beginning, we understand that Paul is talking to us about living the Christian life in chapter 12 of Romans. Paul encouraged us to live as we are presenting our bodies a living sacrifice.
Yes, sir. Amen.
There is service in being a living sacrifice.
Amen.
He has also encouraged us not to be conformed to this world,
That's right.
but be transformed into the image of Christ. One of the main ways that takes place is the renewing of our mind.
Say that.
Renewing of our mind.
Yes, sir.
Not just yours, not just mine, but our mind.
That's right.
Because in order to have our minds together, it helps us to work together.
Right.
Because we all have a mandate from the Lord Jesus Christ to work.
That's right.
He is the teacher. He is the instructor. And we must follow his instructions. This morning, Paul tells us that truly one of the main ways we can present our bodies as a living sacrifice is by serving one another through the gift we've been given.
That's right.
The first thing Paul does is warn us about one of the things that a lot of times hinder us. Is pride.
All right.
Because of the privilege and the authority God has given me, I give each one of you this warning. Do not think you are better than you really are. Be honest. Be honest in your evaluation of yourself. measuring yourself by the faith God has given us. Now we all know that we were born into certain families. And y'all know that the Johnsons were better than the Robertsons. Y'all just know that. You know, it was no question about it. If you was a Johnson, you sure enough was better than a Robertson. What was the reason for that? Just because we said so. That's how that got started. Because we said so. Now, the Johnsons and the Robertsons are both black. They both stay down on the same block. Mom and daddy is still there. Mom and daddy got a job. But just because daddy is trying to save money and can't shop at Montgomery Ward, he shopped at Payless for your future, it in turn that they are better than you. But somewhere along the way, if you figure this out, when you get older, somebody's going to college because what daddy said. But see, you can't go and get all those stuff that you got while you was coming up and go cash it in. But somebody has to make a way of provision for you. I know y'all missed that. But that's what we are about, is learning, serving, and teaching. Because in order to make a change, somebody got to learn how to do something right. Somebody got to learn to do something right. We hear a lot about low self-esteem. And I know the real problem suffered by some. It's a real problem suffered by some. But the Bible says that man's main problem is not thinking too low of himself, but too highly. In other words, pride not just is in the world, but pride is also in the church. Paul in verse 3 says, don't go thinking that you are something and that you are better than someone else. Philippians 2 tells us that do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself. Is anybody in here trying to value others above themselves? If you see a need of a young man or a young lady, or you just turning and saying, I know they didn't come out the house looking like that. What's wrong with their parents? Well, they don't know. Or either they're not there. Or either it is a sign of neglect. But since you are so educated and highly favored, if you see the need, take care of the need. You never know when you plant a seed in somebody's heart because of love and care. Don't you know that's what makes a difference? Love and care. How many times in our lives have we had those thoughts about thinking we were better than someone else? Listen, I know I've had them. Can I get a witness? You just feel a certain way sometimes. You get up in the morning, everything's working and everything's feeling good. You feeling just all right. You feeling good about yourself till you get in traffic. How many know? How many know if there was a camera in the car, if there was a recording in the car, even while you listen to 1590 or 890, everything ain't the right thing that come out your mouth just because you late. Somebody just got free. I heard you back there. You just got free. We oftentimes think that we are better and more important because of our status at work. Or even work at our status in church. Now I know we shouldn't have this at church, but we do.
Yeah, you're right. So no.
Depending on what we do.
Right.
If we're not careful, we can allow spiritual pride to creep in and affect our walk with God and our service to others. Remember the parable of the Pharisees and the tax collector in Luke 18:10 and 4?
Yeah.
Stood within himself and said, Lord, I thank God that I'm not like an evildoer. Lord, I thank God I'm not like the tax collector. Lord, I thank God I'm not like the adulterer.
Right.
And the tax collector humbled himself.
Right.
And he said, Lord, he beat himself on his breast and said, Lord, have mercy on me. And the one that thought he was in the right, because I'm good all by myself.
Right.
He exalted himself above.
Right.
And the Lord said, if you exalt yourself, I'll bring you down. But if you humble yourself, I'll lift you up and put you where I need you to be.
Come on.
Thank God that he's able to do that.
Amen.
The key is to live in a town called Humbleville. You ever been in Humbleville? Humbleville is a nice place. Humbleville is a smile on every face. Humbleville has hot dinner on the table wherever you go by. Humbleville has a welcome door. Come on in, sit down and rest a while. Has anybody ever been to Humbleville?
Come on, Rob.
Truly, humility will help avoid you thinking more highly than yourself. Because you're thinking about others.
Right.
What can happen if pride rules your life? Well, 2 Chronicles 26 tells us about that. When Uzziah went up into God's house and decided that he was going to do godly things that he wasn't called to do. Only if you was a descendant of Aaron from the priestly tribe was you allowed to work in the temple. But he decided because of who I am, I'm going on up in here and I'm going to light incense on my own. And the Lord warned him by the prophet that don't go and do what you're getting ready to do. He said, who do you think? Do you know who I am? And just as soon as he began to stretch out, the Lord struck him with leprosy. And he died with leprosy. Pride will kill you. Pride will cause you to lose everything that you worked so hard for. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. Psalm 105:36 says, I will not tolerate people who slander their neighbor. I will not endure conceit or pride. Pride leads to disgrace, but humility comes with wisdom. Pride, Proverbs 16:18 says, pride goes down before destruction. A haughty spirit before a fall. God draws closer to those who have humility, but far from the pride heart, from a prideful heart. Yes, my brothers and sisters, the question asked is, can we have spiritual pride in church? Mainly because of spiritual gifts. Don't think yourself more than others. We are all apart. We all look in the mirror every day. And everything is in the right place. Isn't that right? Wouldn't it be something if you woke up one morning and your foot was where your ear was?
All right.
That's going to be a big problem. Because you were hot all day long.
Right.
Trying to hear what's wrong. But thank God that he made you the way that you are. Fitly joined together. For it operates in its own form and how he designed it. Even if you lose a limb, and I have not experienced it, but I've heard it. Even if you lose a limb, it is known that they say they still have feelings of that lost limb. So it is something that God has designed and put it fitly together to work in its proper form.
All right.
We form one body and have different functions, and gifts for each one belongs to each other.
Amen.
How I remember reading a story in the Bible, and it really blew my mind. And it just showed you how deviant this individual was. It's in the book of Kings. I can't think of what chapter it is, but he was a king. And he was so ruthless that when he would capture the other kings, that he would chop off their thumbs and he would chop off their big toes. You can't grab anything if you don't have a thumb. You can lose some other digits, but if you don't have a thumb, the thumb is the lockness on your hand. And if you lose your big toe, that throws your equilibrium off. So it's deviant of how the person was, but how important things are to the body. Don't think you're too small. Don't think that you don't count. Every member is needed. The grass needs to be cut. The floors need to be vacuumed. The wood needs to be polished. Food needs to be cooked. Windows need to be washed. Clothes need to be cleaned. There is a purpose for every part of the body. Why is it that we want the world and we accept the world to have excellency, but when it comes to the church, it's oh well? I thought you was going to do it. Why do we have that mentality? For when God is the one that gets us up every morning, that we ought to show forth his excellence in our lives. But we're so concerned about working on our jobs, getting our paycheck on Friday, that we try to do everything right in order on the job. Because we value it more than we do the house of the Lord. My brothers and sisters, we need to learn today that teaching and service is what got us where we are today. And we're trying to continue on in that lane because we want to see the Lord for ourselves. And if Jesus, the Son of God, who created heaven and earth, was able to come down from 42 through 42 generations, and able to humble himself to the washing of feet, to the fellowshipping with sinners, to the entertaining himself or socializing himself with harlots. How much better do we think we are? If he can stoop down and wash dirty feet. We can't even stand to sit with somebody that just came from the streets drinking all night. You got to understand that service isn't about cleanliness all the time. Because I have yet to see you catch a fish out the water that's already prepared. You toil all night long trying to catch one. And while you are there hoping and praying and wishing and trying to get your bait right to get the right fish, when you finally get him, there's still work to be done. When you're grabbing this slippery and slimy and wet, it just makes you feel kind of crazy when you touch it. But my brothers and sisters, you got to understand that when service is about this life, there are people in the world that are nasty, that they're filthy, they don't smell right, they don't look right. But I tell you, if you hold on and keep on preaching and keep on teaching, they will come into a new light. I'm so glad that Jesus was one that was able to humble himself. He didn't have to do it, but they searched and said, is it anybody that's worthy to go down and redeem man? And they searched high and they searched low. And there was one around the altar saying, I'll go down and I'll redeem man back to the Father. And I'm so glad that he did. Mama loved me, but Mama had issues of her own. Yes, Daddy was nowhere around, but even though the best of friends couldn't have done what Jesus did, and he got on board and got in Mary and rode 9 months and he was born in Bethlehem. Yes, he was raised, yes, under Joseph's son, and oh yes, when the appointed time came, Jesus went down in the Jordan and was baptized by John. The Lord said, this is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased. Yes, sir. My brothers and my sisters, tonight, this morning, we're here celebrating, yes, Sunday school. And the Word of God came down and taught men how to live. Yes, he did. But I'm so glad that while he taught them, yes, he had to do something else. It caused a sacrifice for sin, and he was the sacrifice. Yes, they led him from judgment hall to judgment hall. Yes, couldn't find nothing wrong, but they said, people, who do you want us to give? Do you want to release Jesus, or do you want Barabbas? They said, give us Barabbas. I'm so glad, yes I am, that Jesus hung on the cross. From the 6th hour to the 9th hour, he dropped his head in the locks of his shoulder. He served and he taught well. Yes, he did. But oh, there is a reward in serving and teaching well. He got down from the cross. They took him down from the cross and they laid him in the tomb for 3 days and 3 nights. And oh, I'm so glad that early Sunday morning, power got up out the grave. Victory got up out the grave. All power in his hand. He's able to walk with you. He's able to help you do it. Keep on going, greater faith. Keep on going, Pastor. God has a reward for you. He went away. He said the same way I'm going is the same way I'm coming back. I'm going away to prepare a place for you. For in my Father's house are many mansions. He has a place waiting for you. Ain't he all right? Ain't he all right? I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that trouble don't last always. I'm so glad that there is a reward, even in this life, when you serve and when you teach. God bless you is my prayer, and God keep you. Thank you.